A little girl vanishes from a locked apartment.
No scream. No struggle.
No sign of a break-in. Just an empty bed, and a mystery that would grip an entire nation for nearly 2 decades. This is the story of Madeleine McCann. And to this day, nobody knows exactly what happened to her. It was the 9th of May, 2007. A quiet holiday resort on the Algarve coast of Portugal. A family on a relaxing break. And then, in the space of less than an hour, a case that would become the most scrutinized missing person investigation in British history. Stay with me, because the deeper you go into this case, the stranger it gets. Kate and Jerry McCann were doctors from Leicestershire. They had travelled to the Ocean Club Resort in Praia de Luz with their 3 children, 3-year-old Madeleine, and her twin siblings, Sean and Amelie, who were just 2. They were holidaying with a group of family friends, 7 adults in total, all staying in apartments close together. Each evening, the parents took turns checking on the children while the group dined at a tapas restaurant nearby. It was, by every account, an ordinary, unremarkable holiday. Sun, sea, and shared childcare among trusted friends. The McCann's apartment was ground floor. The children's bedroom had a window facing the street. The restaurant was roughly 50 yards away, within view, or so the parents believed. On the evening of the 3rd of May, that routine would end in tragedy. At around 9:30, Kate McCann returned to the apartment to check on the children. The door was as she had left it. But when she looked into the bedroom, Madeleine's bed was empty. The window and shutters, which had been closed, were open. She ran back to the restaurant. Within minutes, the group had split up, searching apartments, the pool area, the surrounding streets. Local police were called. Nothing was found. No trace, no footprint, no witness who could say for certain what they had seen. There was no forced entry. No evidence of a struggle. Madeleine's soft toy, Cuddle Cat, was left behind. She had simply gone. Portuguese police, the Polícia Judiciária, took charge of the case. In the early weeks, the investigation drew criticism for how the crime scene was handled. Family and friends had already moved through the apartment before it was properly secured, which experts later said may have compromised forensic evidence. Sniffer dogs trained to detect the scent of blood and cadaver traces were brought in from the UK weeks later. They reportedly signalled an alert in the McCann's apartment and in the boot of a hire car the family had used. But the forensic tests that followed were inconclusive, and no charges ever followed from that evidence. In September 2007, Portuguese police controversially named both Kate and Jerry McCann as arguidos, formal suspects under Portuguese law. It's a status that gives certain legal protections but also implies suspicion. The move caused international headlines. The couple always strongly denied any involvement, and in July 2008, Portuguese authorities archived the case, and their arguido status was lifted. Scotland Yard opened its own review in 2011, escalating in 2013 into a full investigation known as Operation Grange, following requests from the McCann family and a documentary that reignited public interest. Over the years, theories multiplied. Some suggested Madeleine had wandered off and suffered an accident nearby, her body never found. Others focused on burglars disturbed mid-crime. Still others speculated about human trafficking networks operating along the Algarve coast. Then, in 2020, the case took its most significant turn in over a decade. German prosecutors publicly named a convicted sex offender, Christian Bruckner, as a formal suspect in Madeleine's disappearance. German authorities stated they believed Madeleine McCann was dead, and that Bruckner was responsible, though they said their evidence was, in their own words, not yet sufficient to bring charges. Bruckner has consistently denied any involvement in Madeleine's disappearance. He has never been charged in connection with the case, and no court has ever found him responsible. It's important to say that clearly, a suspect is not the same as a conviction, and as of today, this case remains legally unsolved. Investigators noted that Bruckner was known to have lived in the Algarve region at the time and had a lengthy history of prior offences. But whether he had any connection to Madeleine specifically has never been proven in a court of law. Nearly 2 decades on, Madeleine McCann's disappearance remains one of the most investigated missing person cases in modern history. Millions of pounds and thousands of hours have gone into finding an answer. And still, there isn't one. Kate and Jerry McCann have never stopped searching, never stopped hoping. Operation Grange, though scaled back, technically remains open. Somewhere, someone may know exactly what happened on that spring evening in 2007. Whether the world will ever hear it is another question entirely. If you found this case as haunting as I do, let me know your own theory in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into Britain's most baffling unsolved mysteries, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, because there are many more stories like this one still waiting to be told.